people being able to walk to get something to eat or walk to the beach. Those are all things that will improve everybody's quality of life.
Because I think at our stage of life, we need that. We need to feel that we can have some fun and not feel guilty.
We look for people who care about our seniors and who want to work at Wesley Palms.
Because everybody's idea of what's best is very different.
I'm looking forward to signing up.
Yeah, we'll have a place for you.
Our next guest is Kevin McWayne. He is VP and Senior Fiduciary Specialist at Wells Fargo Wealth Management. Welcome, Kevin.
Thanks, Patty. Nice to be here.
Great to have you.
Kevin, thank you so much for joining us today here at the Senior Stay or Go TV. This is a very passionate issue for both Patty and I on what the role of a fiduciary is. And there's a lot of words: fiduciary, successor trustee, executor, and they all get somewhat mingled up in the public's eye. And we really want you to define for us, what is a fiduciary?
Sure, Ron. Well, a fiduciary is someone that is actually an individual or a company that a person places their utmost trust and confidence in to manage their financial affairs. And as you said, we often refer to it as a trustee or an executor.
And so what are your responsibilities, being with Wells Fargo, a national company here and here locally in San Diego, what are your responsibilities as a fiduciary advisory specialist?
When we act as a fiduciary, as a trustee for an individual, or their estate, we're responsible for prudently investing the assets, for managing the real estate, for filing the taxes, the tax returns, paying bills, settling claims, and ultimately, after the creator of the trust has passed away, distributing those assets per the terms of their trust or how they want those to be distributed out.
And then before we go on to the next question, a lot of the times it's not just upon death. There are other triggers that can bring you to the forefront of the action. Is that correct?
That's right, and often it's incapacity is what we see.
And so your clients are looking for what? I mean, when you go out and talk to somebody, what are they looking for from Wells Fargo?
So they're really looking for someone to come in, help them manage the finances, pay the bills, take care of the house, whatever needs to be done for them.
Just to make life simpler.
That's right.
Why would I choose a corporate trustee versus, say, my firstborn child, which so many people do?
Right, that's a great question. And oftentimes individuals, they lack the expertise that a corporate trustee or company has in managing financial affairs. So as I mentioned before, the job duties are not just to distribute assets. It could be, in the event of incapacity, paying bills and keeping the household going, providing for the caregivers, getting the caregivers into the house. It could be marshaling all the assets once someone does pass away to an administrative trust, paying bills, settling claims, all of those things. And they often lack that expertise to do it. So what they wind up doing is they go out and they hire a CPA or an accountant to do the taxes, and they hire an investment manager to do the investments. And then on top of that, they're saddled with having to coordinate all these individuals to do it.
And it's not being tied together and working as a single unit.
Correct.
And it's another full-time job.
It's another full-time job, and sometimes they don't live near mom and dad. Sometimes they live clear across the country or out of the country. So it becomes really difficult for them to handle that. And also, it takes away from them being family with their siblings, with their parents. They're focusing on all these financial matters instead of just being family.
And I think that's the number one issue that Patty and I see in the work that we do is, the family it's a very emotional time if their parent is losing capacity or the parent obviously has passed away. And they're trying to grieve or they're trying to deal with mom's lack of capacity. And to try to also be the financial person, it just doesn't make sense. So you must see it in terms of family harmony is really what you're providing.
Absolutely. And let the corporate fiduciary, let that expert do the heavy lifting for you. So you can be family and be there for mom or be there for your other family members.
Because there's so many different emotions that take place all at once that when you have the emotions plus all the necessary financial and big decisions that need to be made, it's just so hard to have everybody trying to do all those things.
That's right. And oftentimes, unfortunately, sometimes after mom and dad pass away, that's when sibling rivalries tend to come out later on.
You think?
And it makes it more difficult. So why not give the corporate fiduciary, put that person in there who truly has an objective, independent lens into the managing the trust.
So when do you like to first get involved? Obviously, prior to someone passing away, you want to be involved, up front and kind of get to know that their wishes, the control of what's going on.
Right. We really believe that planning is when to get involved. So, and planning is not just a one-time, we're done, we made a trust, and it's over. I often talk to folks and we ask them, when did you have your trust, when was it created? And they'll say, well, it was created in 1995. And the next question is, when did you last look at it? And they'll say, well, it was 1995. So
you know where it is.
So it's really important to dust off your trust, to take a look at it, and we're there to help you do that and take a look at it and make sure that it is still fulfilling your wishes, whether it's at incapacity or at death.
So it's not like there's a key age to be able to do that. It really depends upon every situation.
That's right. And also a really good thing to do is to dust it off whenever there's a major life event that happens. So when there's deaths, births, retirement, whatever it is, take a look and see, was there a major life event that's impacting us financially that we need to go back and look at this trust? And absent that, I think a good rule of thumb is, and this year's the perfect year, just look at it every presidential election year if there's no major life events.
And this is a major one.
So Kevin, you also offer life management services. Can you explain what those are and what they provide?
Sure. Life management services is a premium service we offer that helps maintain the dignity of seniors. And so what it is in addition to managing the assets for them, we are doing a health and wellness assessment for them with a professional care manager that we have vetted out nationally. We provide them, we've already done all the research and provide them a list of possible caregivers if they need caregiving in the home. We're assessing their housing needs, their medication needs with the care manager. We are also paying all their bills, filing their taxes for them if they wish, or we'll reimburse to a certain dollar amount for them to pay their tax preparer. We will review all of their medical claims.
Oh, wow.
So
that's important.
Yes. So oftentimes when you're in the hospital, you're at the doctor's, we got all these explanation of benefits letters that come. So we're going to go through those and we're going to assess those, make sure that nobody's being double billed, triple billed, or we also, yes, exactly. And we also, during Medicare open enrollment, we'll look at their Medicare open enrollment and see if there's a better option for them and possibly save them some money.
Will you assist with long-term care insurance as well, since that's going to probably be something that people are going to have more of as we?
Absolutely, and we would connect them with one of our financial advisors to assess them for the long-term care insurance.
That is really a tremendous service.
That's
because
awesome.
Part of our job is to find these people and try to bring the team together. Wells Fargo has the team in place, and your job is to bring your job is part of your job, part of your responsibility is to bring those people into place to really have a one-stop shop for mom and dad, mom or dad, to be able to handle so many things that are going on. Mm-hmm. Also, it's a great service because I think it really helps put a stop to any scamming possibilities that are so prevalent today. Thank you, Kevin, for being here today. Stay tuned for more Senior Stay or Go. We will be right back.
Are you modern or classic?
Flip-flops or hiking boots?
Binoculars or reading glasses? Surf or turf?
Today we have three awesome guests from the Front Porch Wesley Palms community. Our first guest is Davis Park. He is the director of the Center for Innovation and Wellbeing. Welcome.
Thank you.
Our next guest is Ray Newman. She is a daughter of a resident at Wesley Palms Summerhouse, which is a memory care neighborhood. And our third guest is Janet Griffin. Welcome to all of you.
Thanks.
Thank you for being here. We have assembled an amazing team from Front Porch and Wesley Palms. So let's dig right into this with you, Davis. So tell us about the Front Porch Center for Innovation and Wellbeing.
Sure. So the Front Porch Center for Innovation and Wellbeing is a center of excellence within Front Porch, and
Our mission is to explore innovative uses of technology to help empower individuals, especially as they age. And we're supported by foundations to help support our innovations that really look at how technology can enhance our lives and improve our well-being. We look at everything from sensor technologies to brain health games and applications to robotics. And so we look at a wide range of different kinds of applications and uses to help support the aging process. We are also really looking closely at these sorts of innovations and how they can support memory care programs, how they can support people with Alzheimer's, people with dementia. And it really is an exciting time right now as far as technology and aging is concerned, because there are all these really amazing kind of solutions that are coming out to market to help support us, every one of us.
I see you have something right to the right of you. Can you tell us a little bit about that beautiful seal?
Sure. This is Paro, and Paro is an interactive robot that was designed in the likeness of a baby harp seal. It's got 5 sensors on it. It responds to touch, and it responds to light and sound, to someone's voice.
So cute.
And yeah, it's really irresistible to put down. And we really want to look at how Paro, how devices like this can help support our memory care neighborhoods. And this device was actually specifically designed to be in memory care environments to help reduce anxiety levels and help as caregiving tools and address the needs among people who are in those kinds of environments and neighborhoods.
Well, that is really fabulous, and just that the Front Porch Center for Innovation and Wellbeing was awarded by Aging 2.0 the 2015 Pilot Pioneer Award for leading the way in piloting technology innovation. So congratulations
Thank you.
on that.
The piloting and testing out different kinds of innovations is just one part of what we do. It's an important part of what we do because we look at how these kinds of solutions can really make an impact in the communities that we're serving. And so in order for us to really understand like what the impact and effect is, we really need to kind of set up measures and evaluations and surveys to understand how they're making a difference within these kinds of communities. So piloting is one important part.
Paro is really
he's responding to my voice.
It's
he's
the coolest
looking right
thing.
at
It's
me.
just awesome. So let's find out a little bit about Summerhouse.
So Ray, you chose Summerhouse for your mom. Can you tell us a little bit about why you chose Summerhouse for your mom?
I definitely can. Summerhouse is unique. The layout is in an open space with cottages lining the outside, and the center is the clubhouse and the dining area. So when a resident leaves their home, they come out onto their very own front porch with arbors, and then they can walk down any number of aisleways that is planted amazingly with butterfly bushes, fruit trees, incredible. It's absolutely stunning, and the reason that I chose it is because there's no stairs, there's no elevators. It's more of an outdoor life than if you live in a building.
Hallways.
No dark hallways. And the norm is to be outside rather than inside. We
Especially
go inside.
here in San Diego,
Yes,
right?
yes, and the view is quite nice as well. One of the reasons that I picked Summerhouse, and it was absolutely essential to me, is that there's some kind of way to trigger a caregiver coming to my mother's room when she starts to arise off the bed. And I found that very few places actually had any technology or were willing to use it. And the technology at Summerhouse in the cottages is a sensor that actually kind of sends a beam so that she just has to sit up in bed and the caregiver is alerted and hopefully can get there before she tries to chug to the bathroom on her own.
So yeah, actually, and thank you for reminding me of that, because the sensor technologies is actually a really important part. One of the important innovations that we're really excited about, that's a solution that's called quiet care by Care Innovations. And what it does is that it puts passive sensors within residents, within the community. And what it does, it picks up whether or not someone's getting up, and there are no cameras or microphones, but just it detects movement and it learns these kinds of patterns, and it develops these algorithms based on this data that can predict or inform caregivers whether or not someone is, like, for example, going to the bathroom too often, which may indicate that there might be a health issue, or whether someone may have fallen because they weren't in bed for a certain amount of time. So the sensor technology is really important, but I also want to emphasize that these are all tools. These are all designed to help support the caregiving experience.
Absolutely.
Absolutely not to replace them, but really to help to enhance the quality of care and support the people who are the quality of life, and to really support the community that's really trying to develop this kind of nurturing environment.
Janet, you've worked for many years in working with Alzheimer's. What makes Summerhouse so unique and special?
There's a genuine caring on the part of the staff there that I think is very unique. The staff partner together including the family members to help bring about activities and fun times and caring for the residents.
So what is your specific role?
Myself and my coworker, Dinda Spada, we like to get to know the residents and then provide them with things that they can enjoy, something like your mother or your mother-in-law that you are referring to. So find out a little bit about who that person is and what they like to do, what they did in their past, and what brings them pleasure. Something they've done before, something totally new like water colors.
You teach a class?
Well, it sort of evolved that way. I'm a watercolor artist, and I play ukulele, and my mother loves to sing. It seems like when everything else goes, they can still sing, and it's amazing. And so I come and I play ukulele, and we have this whole songbook now of songs that they can join in on. Some of them can read the words, and some of them can just, do whatever they can do. And we hand out instruments, but they all can keep rhythm. It's amazing. You think they're asleep, but you put an instrument in their hand and they're it's amazing.
It is.
And then
fabulous.
The watercolor, only one person had ever done watercolor, and she requested that somebody teach watercolor. So Janet was thoughtful enough to ask me, and my students have never done it. They will tell me 15 times during the hour that they absolutely cannot do this. And the pictures that they've come up with, they're amazing. They're doing amazing work.
So how does that go? I mean, how long a time do you spend with them?
We meet once a week for each one.
And they just love it.
They seem to really love it, yes. And I really enjoy them as well. They're doing things they've never done. And the product they're producing, they're very thrilled with, and so am I. And then we put them up. Janet was kind enough to put them up in Summerhouse so they're on display so that other people get to enjoy them as well.
Well, kudos for you to being actively involved with your mom and taking part in this. And obviously, a lot of people run from it, unfortunately. But Patty and I did get the total honor and privilege of touring Summerhouse
and your mom's cottage.
Yeah, oh nice.
And
it's beautiful.
Both of us are personally impacted by this terrible disease, and we have never seen anything so wonderful as that community as Summerhouse is, and what it really can do for both the whole family. And it helps you as much as it helps your mom, I would say.
It does.
It seems like the Wesley Palms Summerhouse is just always thinking outside the box, and you are really open to new ideas and innovation. So that turns back to you, Davis. Tell us about where you see this going, the innovations that Wesley Palms Front Porch is bringing to the work at Summerhouse.
The kind of work that we're bringing to Front Porch Communities like Wesley Palms and Summerhouse really is about how we can support the care environment there. We're always looking for new innovations and ideas and solutions to help support caregivers. And we really want to look at how these kinds of things can really help promote wellness and health and social activities and connectedness. And so PARO is just one of a number of different kinds of approaches that we're taking. Another example is music and memory. And we find that it's a very, very simple technology. It's like we're just basically using iPods, but really putting a personal take on them. And so developing curated, individualized playlists that really resonate with the individual.
Right,
and so this program called Music and Memory, we found has been so impactful in just a really simple song that may reach deep down in someone, that just really brings them back to life. They're suddenly like
I have a perfect example of that. My mom's a sundowner, and we have an iPod with music from the 30s and the 40s because she loved the jitterbug. And she'll just be in her wheelchair, and we'll put the headphones on, and you'll just see her go, and she just thinks she's dancing like she used to.
It's transformative. Music is one of the most special, like resonant kind of characteristics of what makes us like who we are. And so something as simple as like putting, something like band music from the 30s can really just kind of reach deep within inside our own memories and kind of change the way that we're suddenly socializing and interacting with others. Sundowning is a perfect example, like when it's a moment in a day when typically people with Alzheimer's and dementia start to get really anxious and nervous. Introducing PARO or a special playlist can really just ease that person's anxiety level. So we found that it's been really effective. I mean, and we're talking about like a really simple technology that doesn't require us to have to pop pills. So I mean, we're looking we're looking for interventions that don't require that kind of medicalization.
So Janet, all these innovations that Davis's department is coming up with, how do you incorporate them, and when do you incorporate them? Why do you incorporate them? He mentioned it's not only for the resident, but it's also for the caregivers. So that's a lot of work to try and manage all of that.
It can be a lot of work if you try and manage it all at one time. If they are feeling isolated, for example, or isolated or aggressive or anxious, we might introduce a PARO, which at Summerhouse at Wesley Palms we call Snowball. So we would introduce Snowball to a resident, for example, who doesn't want to, is isolated and doesn't want to come to the community club room. And we've seen that before. I can visualize in my mind the resident who had PARO in her lap and started petting and talking, and just really, her mood just really changed. And she was much more willing to talk to the staff members after that, the caregivers or the family members even, and perhaps willing to come into the dining room and have a meal with the group. So it's really, that might be one way we would use it and how we would use it. And of course the music and memory we can use on groups, at a group social hour, or for example the music and memory through headphones with a personalized playlist we would put on Irene, who's Ray's mother, during the watercolor class. Because Ray no longer paints. But she does want to join the group, and her daughter's there teaching. So she just sits again and sort of bops along to Frank Sinatra in her
right on.
In her through her headphones, and she's outdoors, and she's she just really grooving and enjoying it while the watercolor class is going on. And so she's happy and well adjusted, and so are the other residents who are painting. So we don't use all of the technologies on all of the residents at all times, but maybe one at a time, like when it's indicated by the resident.
Awesome.
Well, I can say I appreciate Front Porch really being, you really are the leading edge of innovation and well-being here in certainly San Diego. I know you're throughout the state, wherever Front Porch is located. I know you guys really honor the idea of quality of life and taking technology and not just using technology for technology's sake, but how does that implement and how does that help the caregiver, how does that help the resident have the best and highest quality of life is really truly honorable, and it's wonderful.
And ultimately it helps the family because peace of mind is huge.
Right. Absolutely. And it is a difficult time, to say the very least. And Ray, we thank you so much for doing this. It's not easy to talk about this under any circumstances. And for both of you, thank you so much for being here and joining us. And Paro, I'm after you. I may have to take that. Thank you so much for joining us. This is Ron Greenwald, Senior Stay or Go. We will be right back.
What if the personalized memory care you're looking for came wrapped in a place as warm and bright as a cherished summer home? Introducing Summerhouse at Wesley Palms. This unique new memory care neighborhood features 22 cottages encircling a beautiful courtyard, just right for taking in the bay breezes and sunshine. Summerhouse offers highly personalized care for your loved one with Alzheimer's in a protected and engaging environment. Visit us in person or on the web at summerhouse@wp.org.
Today we have four very special guests and good friends of mine on the Senior Stay or Go TV today, with four very special institutions, organizations here in San Diego. So I welcome you all. We have Debbie Rossi, the Director of Planned Giving at the Salvation Army. We have Vienne Nguyen, Manager of Planned Giving and Major Gifts at KPBS.
Thanks so much.
I'm still waiting for Downton Abbey to decide to come back. Anyway, we have Amy Walling, Assistant Vice President for Planned Giving and Estates at SDSU.
Thank you, Ron.
Go Aztecs.
Yes.
And then Kyle, last but not least, we have Kyle Button, Associate Vice President for Development at Cal State San Marcos. Go Cougars. And all four of these very special people and organizations are part of a summer program called Estate Planning 101, and that's what we're here to talk about today, along with their organization. So Debbie, let's start with you. First, Planned Giving, what do you mean by that title of Planned Giving Director?
Very simple, Ron. What we try to do is help people plan their giving. And planned giving means we're working with our senior population. We're working with them with income-producing gifts potentially, so gift annuities, trust, bequest and wills and living trust and that type of thing. So we're helping them plan their retirement.
And I know you're very hands-on with them as well.
Absolutely.
So let's talk a little bit about Estate Planning 101. And you've been involved with it for how many years, Debbie?
Salvation Army's been involved with Estate Planning 101 for 6 years already.
6 years.
Yes.
Congratulations.
It's been a wonderful, wonderful move on our part, Ron. We were looking for something that we could provide as a service to our constituency, and Estate Planning 101 is absolutely the most comprehensive estate planning seminar out there, and actually ours is a series of workshops. It's a total of 12 hours of education split up over 4 days, which is split up over 2 weeks as well. It's extraordinarily comprehensive.
And so let's expand on that a little bit. How does that different from the other, quote, estate planning seminars, workshops that are out there?
Simple. We're the best. We're the best that's out there. And you know, most estate planning seminars are a lunch and learn and maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Free chicken dinner.
Free chicken dinner, exactly. We're talking 12 hours. It's sponsored by charities or nonprofit organizations, which makes us extremely different. I feel it's a great service to the community because we go so much further than any other estate planning seminar. We have geriatric care manager who comes in and talks about living opportunities. Do you want to live in your home when you're a senior? If so, what do you have to do to make it safe? What is the cost compared to maybe moving into a senior living facility? We do the typical, we talk about wills and estates, powers of attorney, advanced health care directive, but we spend 4 hours on that when most of these seminars are an hour and a half to 2 hours. We have, we bring in financial advisors who talk to us about the difference in the advisors and the planners, whether they're fee-based or if they're commission-based. We're all about protecting our constituency, our community, helping them protect themselves as well as their assets. We have a charity speaker who will come in and talk about building relationships with the charities of their choice and what the great resources that the charities have to offer, because we are all in plan giving, we all do estate planning, and we can provide a tremendous resource, again, at no cost to our constituency. We can talk to them about helping them supplement their income with a planned gift. Whether it's a gift annuity or a trust, or even help them with their children, their heirs, to make sure the bundle isn't blowing. But I think also, I've been in this business for 30 years, and the number one reason why people don't plan is because they don't know who to name as an executor or a successor trustee. And we spend 3 hours on that subject, that there are alternatives out there, and we all believe that it is much better to have a plan in place for when you pass away.
And I know you have a story that we're going to come back and
Sure.
share with us, and it's really the depth and breadth of this workshop, Estate Planning 101, that takes it to a whole different level
Absolutely.
than anything anybody can attend to. So Amy, San Diego State, this is your first year.
It's our first year, yes.
So why did the university decide to be a co-sponsor this year?
Well, we wanted to give an educational resource back to the community. We think that this seminar is going to be just fantastic for the ones that are attending. We feel that it's going to be an action-oriented type of seminar, so they will know exactly what their next steps are going to be when they leave. These are folks that are going from college to retirement, so this is helping them throughout the years and understanding what they're going to need. This is going to be a legacy, a continued legacy of what they're trying to do. So,
I think that's really, legacy is such an important word to get across, that people really have the opportunity to leave a legacy and be in control of what they've accumulated during their lifetime. And it's so important. San Diego State is such an amazing institution, organization up on the Mesa, that I'm so glad that you decided to come on board this year. I know you had a story you wanted to share about a benefactor and the musical theater, so please tell us about that.
Yes, it's Faculty Maritime Maggie McCarrow. And so because of her estate planning, because she's able to plan, because she did her planning, she's also able to help others who can plan. She supports the graduate students that want to she's creating scholarships for graduate students who want to study children's musical theater. And so she has other folks who are inspired by her giving, and she's helped them do their planning, and now they're actually giving to her scholarship at San Diego State, the Maggie McCarrow Scholarship. Yes.
So will she hopefully be in attendance this summer?
I think so. We're definitely going to get her there, but she's done her planning. She knows she's done her estate planning, so she can plan for the future.
And really, people think estate planning, it's all about the end. It's really all about living, and that's what we want to get across to everybody that attends. And we know we've been in attendance, and they all come in with their, especially the man comes in with it. Oh, my wife dragged me here, and by the time they're leaving after the 12th hour, they're the ones with all the questions, and they're the ones who go, okay, I got to get my team in place. And it's really a remarkable, I don't want to say if it's transformational or whatever it is, but I've been there from first hour to the 12th hour to see what happens to people and how they really take ownership of their quality of life. So Vivienne, you're with KPBS, and you've been involved for several years now, and tell us a little bit about why you think it's so important that people come to Estate Planning 101.
To build off of what Debbie said, KPBS's mission is to educate the community, and there really is no other seminar that's as thorough as this one when it comes to estate planning. Estate planning is complicated. There are a lot of moving parts. There are several different kinds of documents, and not all of them will apply to your assets the same way. So some might apply to your real estate, some might apply to your retirement plan. And along with that, everyone has their own loved ones, their own financial and charitable goals. So there are a lot of moving parts. And this seminar, because it covers so many hours, really gives this topic the time that it needs in order for everyone to absorb it all and think about what's going to be the best for them. It's just a little bit too complicated to simply Google on the internet for that reason. There's a lot of misinformation out there, or information that applies to other states that doesn't apply to California. And so estate planning is California specific. It's led by a number of professional advisors, so you get a lot of different perspectives, and it's really a valuable program that way, and it's free to the public. So anyone that's curious to go, we invite you. We'll all be there as well to help answer any questions with it.
That's fantastic. Tell us a little bit about the Friends for Life, the Legacy Society of KPBS.
So for donors that choose to support KPBS with the planned gift, we've created our Legacy Society. It's called Friends for Life, and it's an opportunity for us to thank our donors, past and present. We have an annual appreciation event every year. We have a recognition wall that names all of those generous donors right at our station. And we also invite all of our Friends for Life members to our Producers Club events as well. Producers Club, if you've heard on the radio, is donors that support KPBS at $100 a month or greater. And we do several events every month that range from art events to speakers about science and innovation to screenings of the programs. So it's a really great way to bring together people that love KPBS and believe in public broadcasting, and bring them all in together in the same rooms to learn more about KPBS and our community.
Kyle, let's turn to you, and this is your third year as a co-sponsor of State Planning 101.
That's right.
Tell us a little bit about, let's move in a little different direction. What are your duties as the Associate VP for Development at Cal State San Marcos? And let's give a plug out, go Cougars.
Go Cougars.
Go Cougars.
Roar.
Roar, roar, roar.
No, I think all of us have, as a part of our professional responsibilities, working as an information resource for our donors, our friends, our communities. And one of the reasons I believe Estate Planning 101 is so important is not only that it's comprehensive, but it's also nonprofit. It's not being sponsored by somebody who's trying to sell you something. We're in the business of education. We're also in the business of community service. We're probably the youngest charity represented here today, and among the sponsors, we just celebrated our 25th anniversary.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Anniversary.
But since the founding of the university, we've had a strong community service mission. We have an Osher Lifelong Learning Institute. We work with senior centers in our area. And I think this is information that is too often not discussed. You mentioned people's fear of talking about the planning. And I think many people think of it as, planning for death. And it's really not. It's planning for the rest of your life and beyond, even to issues of legacy. We're delighted to be a part of that. And in our roles as plan giving professionals, we work not only with our donors, but with their professionals to make sure we understand what's intended by their gift, and probably most importantly, that we're prepared to be able to uphold those wishes when the time comes. So we can do that anonymously. We can do it in a way that is personal and meaningful, and really an integral part of the process of putting your estate plan together.
And you have a specific story about a benefactor that
No, it's one of my favorite stories because it happened early in my career, and I think set me on this path. And I was working with a donor who had been an active part of the university community for a number of years. Her husband passed away, and then she became distant. And through a course of conversations, she said, well, I don't think I can afford to do that anymore. And it didn't seem to make sense because, to my mind, her financial circumstances hadn't changed. But apparently her husband's advice, just before he dies, is, honey, don't sell the blue chips. So she had she had accumulated wealth, she had stocks, but they weren't paying dividends. So she felt impoverished in that way. And through a series of conversations with her advisors, we constructed a way to increase life income for her and let her have more choices in her life. The end result would be a nice gift to the university in memory of her husband. And so she got back into the life of the university. And I think why this is this story is special to me is she wrote me probably the nicest thank you letter I ever got in this business, which is, you know, thank you for making me a wealthy woman again. And I'm not really talking about the money.
Right.
It was the quality of her life and her engagement and the choices that she had to make.
If people will just reach out, people just come and show up and sign up, they really are a life-altering event. I mean, it truly is life transformational. And I know that's maybe an overused term, or we can all say things like that. But all four of us have, or five, well, there's five of us here, right? have seen this happen. And it's just, so I just encourage everybody to reach out to whether, one of you or come and show up. So Debbie, you have a story that you wanted to share, so please.
I do. It's not similar to you guys in that it does involve a donor of ours who had her plan established. I strongly encouraged her to come to our Oceanside facility where we were doing estate planning 101, and she would say, no, I've got my estate plan done. I know 90% of what there is to know out there. I still encouraged. She showed up. The first day she walked out saying, wow, I had no idea. At the end of the fourth session, she came back and said, I know I told you I knew 90% of the information, but in reality, I only knew 10%. And I wish I knew this information before I put my plans together, and now I'm going back to redo them. So it's the power, as Vienne was saying, there is a lot of information out there on the internet and whatnot, but it's not always great information. And this is an opportunity for 12 hours. You're in front of professionals who are the best in their business, and we have an opportunity to pick their brains. It's just every year I hear this over and over and over again. And so we encourage your viewers to please join us. Come out for the first day. Guarantee you'll be back for all four sessions.
How many SDSU alum do we have approximately in San Diego?
San Diego, well, about 78% stay locally, so 400,000 total alums that we had. So about 80%.
Okay, so my quick math as an ex-CPA, 320, approximately 300 to 320,000.
They stay right here in our own backyard.
Wow. Yeah. So how many can the room fill? So yeah, it filled up last year. So we do encourage people to sign up on the website early in the game. Before we sign off, I want to make sure is there any other story or everybody got their message across that they wanted to say?
There's one thing that's probably important for people to know, which is that all of us have committed to participating in this as a community service. So we offer this free of charge. So not only is it comprehensive, but on a first come, first served basis. So important to make those reservations sooner rather than later so that we can serve the most people.
And everybody understands who is listening, you will not get a call at 6 while you're eating dinner after the fact. Nobody's going to take your information and call you to sign you up for anything after. This is really an educational benefit put on by 4 tremendous charities, organizations here in San Diego. We have Salvation Army, Cal State San Marcos, we have SDSU, San Diego State University, and of course KPBS. And thank you all so much for being here today. We really hope, we know we're going to make significant changes here in San Diego County and really benefit people's quality of life through Estate Planning 101. So we thank you all for being here. So stay tuned. We'll be right back with more Senior Stay or Go TV.
Comfort Keepers can provide a variety of custom in-home services for your aging loved ones, including medication reminders and transportation to the doctor.
Comfort Keepers, keeping the comfort of home.
Our next guest is very well known at the Padre ballpark because she's been a fan and a season ticket holder for over 40 years. She's also been on the board at the Ed Brown Center for Aging Adults for the last 17 years. And with that, I welcome Juanita Hawkins.
Thank you very much.
So much for being here today.
You're welcome.
Juanita, thank you for joining us today. And we want to hold up the prop that if you're at Petco Park, this is how you see Juanita sitting at Petco Park, correct? And so she's been attending home opening day games since 1973. So Anita, tell us a little bit about going back beyond that in terms of growing up in Chicago and some of the games that you got to attend then. When did that start?
Well, my uncle was a sandlot ball player on the south side of Chicago, and he took me to the games when I was 4 years old, and I went originally for the hot dogs and the Cracker Jack. And of course, then he started talking to me about what's going on the field. And then my mother found out that he was taking me to the bleachers. And then she said no daughter of her is going to sit in the bleachers. So he, as a bachelor, he had to come up with extra money for a grandstand seat. So he was telling me all about the pitchers and the balls and strikes. And so therefore, I got very interested in the games. And then I did convert to the Padres in 1970, unfortunately.
Well, this could be their year.
Yes, yes.
But you were also a Madre.
Correct.
Tell us a little bit about that, and you had a relationship with Ray Kroc.
Yes, I did. I've been on the board of the Madres, and I joined them in about 1974, and we were a very small organization at that time. We had not set up this Madre Foundation, but Ray Kroc let us use his office as our meeting place. And his desk chair was in the shape of a baseball mitt. And so he was very kind, and Joan Kroc was also very kind, and we had the ball players come to the Madres, and I met Dave Winfield for the first time. He did not play minor league ball at all. He worked just strictly from college to the San Diego Padres. And I was on the welcoming committee for him. And of course, I went down to old Qualcomm Stadium, and he had come through J Gate or something. And so anyhow, I looked up and looked up and looked up, and there he finally was. And he said, "What am I doing here? And why am I going to see the Madres?" And I said, "Well, we supplement the Little League teams, and we sponsor them." And he said, "I'm going to talk to women?" And I said, "Yes, you are." So we did have our luncheon, and he was asked various questions by the Madres. And he did come over to me later in the session, and he said, "You really do know your baseball," because the questions the women asked were very, very poignant and so forth. He said, "Good luck to the Madres."
So what is the Madres' role within the Padres organization? Do you provide services? Do you sponsor events?
We have in the past worked with the All-Star when we had the All-Star in 1992.
And this year?
Sorry?
And this year the All-Star game is here again?
I don't know that if the Madres will be active in this or not. But when 1992, the Madres helped, we met the ball players coming in. We had our own special uniforms, and we talked to the ball players. We got them over from the airport over to where they were staying. And I met Mrs. Griffey and Ken Griffey, and their son came in the night before. And they also, the Padres sponsored the old Negro League. And so I met a lot of the old Negro League players that were coming into the San Diego for the ball.
Well, you have quite a baseball legacy.
Yes.
That's congratulations on that.
Well, thank you.
And I know part of your other life is the Ed Brown Center for Active Adults. Tell us a little bit about that, where they're located, and what some of the functions that they do.
We are in the Ed Brown Center for Active Adults, is in the Rancho Bernardo Community Park. And we have various exercise groups. We have yoga, Zumba, and we have a reading group. They also sponsor Sunday functions, and we have dance lessons, and it's just a very, very important part of Rancho Bernardo.
And how long have you been involved?
Almost 20 years, but I've been on the board about 17 years.
She's a board member, and you are the secretary of the board.
Yes, and I'm a volunteer coordinator.
Volunteer coordinator. So you're busy up there.
Yes.
So you do a lot, care a lot. Well, tell us a little about, I know your Sunday program, you're in charge of that Sunday program, and you've done a fabulous job people doing it. Tell some of the people that are some of the future events out there.
Next, we just finished the Beaujolais Dancers as of last Sunday, and their modern dance group. And next, May 15th, we're going to sponsor the Timku musical group, which is Latin American type of music. And then, believe it or not, in June, we have the Rhinestone Grannies.
Oh, awesome.
And they are a tap dance, and they're all grandmothers, and they'll come out in their costumes sequency, and there'll be a song and dance too.
Well, that's fantastic.
Thank you.
So just final question, if you had to pick a favorite player from Chicago or San Diego, could you do that, or would you want to do that, or just say all of them?
The White Sox player that I would like to remember was Luke Appling, because he would always foul balls off all the time. And then, of course, Tony Gwynn would be the Padre that I would remember. And he was so great, so many times graciously came to the Madres and signed autographs. And we had a stipulation that only 20 people could, but he would ahead, and he did all the signing that he could. Amazing.
Wow. Thank you for that story. Well, Anita, we thank you so much. Patty and I are thrilled to have you here today, and we're so excited that you are truly an inspiration to us and to other people in terms of you're active, you're out there, you're doing things, and we really honor you for what we're putting up with the Padres for 43 or 40 plus years. So congratulations on that. So we thank you for being here today.
And thank you for having me.
We will. Stay tuned for more Senior Stay or Go TV.
Comfort Keepers can provide a variety of custom in-home services for your aging loved ones, including medication reminders and transportation to the doctor.
Comfort Keepers, keeping the comfort of home.
Patty, we really had a great show today. We had a lot of fascinating guests providing us insight to a lot of things that are going on here in San Diego and nationally. Even us who deal with aging seniors every day, I think we've provided some valuable insight to our work as well. Kevin McWayne with Wells Fargo Bank, a senior fiduciary advisor, provided us as insights to services that Wells Fargo is providing to their, or possibly can provide to their clientele. And then certainly we want everybody to Google Estate Planning 101 and really get on board and make their reservations early into what is really the #1 estate planning workshops here in San Diego, and hopefully one of these days it goes national, because it really does provide a valuable service. But I wanted to speak to your situation particularly. I think you got a lot out of what Wesley Palms and Summerhouse has to offer. If you could share a little bit of that with the audience, would be great.
It's phenomenal. So the Summerhouse neighborhood that Wesley Palms has created, the original neighborhood was done in Europe, but it's such a refreshing environment for active adults who have dementia and Alzheimer's and who still want to live life as best as they can. And the innovations that they are creating and that are becoming available to us is just phenomenal, between the music therapy that everybody's pretty much getting on board with, and the paro, the little animal, the little seal that they had, versus maybe a live puppy that they bring into where my mom lives. But all of those things to be able to help with the anxiety, because a person with dementia or Alzheimer's has a lot of anxiety because they can't verbalize, they can't communicate the way they want to. And so to be able to calm them that way versus just popping a pill is huge, because so many of those people are so over-medicated. and it's so sad to watch. So all that innovation just is, it brings a big smile to me.
That's great. And we really encourage people to get a hold of us if they have any questions on any of these issues that they see here on the show, or any issues impacting seniors, their loved ones, because we do have a lot of resources that we can provide to them, and we really want people to reach out to us. We really want to try to help put them in touch with the right people, because you're right, the internet is great for many things, but it's not great to protecting a loved one from all the issues that are impacting their daily lives.
And to be able to advocate on behalf of those people and to help find the resources that are specific to their needs is a good feeling.
Yeah, it really is, and we hope people will stay, every month we'll tune in, because we're going to have a lot of great guests upcoming throughout the months with a lot of innovation into aging well and aging with quality of life. So we really
and planning to age well.
And planning to age well, number one. So again, Google estateplanning101.org and really get on board with that.
Ron, and next month we have a great guest, Justin Bogart and his grandma, Betty Lou. Justin created the GoGo Grandparent. It's not really an app, but it's a website. And from that website, Grandma can use her flip phone. She doesn't have to have a smartphone. And I've already demoed it on my phone.
Have you?
Yes.
Awesome.
And Justin called me right back. And I was like, oops, I was just demoing. But it's awesome. And I think, if you get to a place or you're downtown and you've had a little too much to drink and you want to use Justin instead of just calling Uber, you can find your way home very easily.
Oh, that's great. And if you have a grandson or granddaughter and you're viewing this now, you must tune in next month to see the relationship between a grandparent and a grandson who took on the role of helping grandma have the highest quality of
and being able to remain independent.
Independent and quality of life. Whether you're living in a senior community or living at home, it applies across the board. Really, really interesting.
Yep. It's awesome.
It's going to be fun. Patty, great show. We look forward to next month, and good job.
Thanks.
Awesome.
Comfort Keepers can provide a variety of custom in-home services for your aging loved ones, including medication reminders and transportation to the doctor.